Hi, boys and girls. I hope everybody had a great Easter holiday and you're ready to get back into the swing of working. Today is Friday, April 17th, and usually we would have a little assessment, but because we've been off for so long, I thought we would do something different. We're going to read a story, we're going to listen to a read aloud story, and then we're going to practice unraveling the story. So our story today is called Rainbow Fish. And our objective is I can identify details and answer questions about a story. And our question is, can you identify details in a story? And so before we go on, we know that we always identify and we would underline the title, Rainbow Fish. And then we would look at the paragraphs, but this is not the kind of story that we can really look at the paragraph because it's on different pages, so we're going to skip that today. But we are going to read the questions that we're going to discuss in the story, because if we read the questions first and then read the story, remember that we'll see the answers in the story as we're reading it. So, and we have about 10 because that's what we're going to do today. This is our activity. So our first question is, what is the title? 2, why was he beautiful? And the story we're going to find that he thought he was the most beautiful fish in the ocean. Was Rainbow Fish friendly? Who wanted a scale? Why was Bluefish shocked? Number 6, when no one played with him, he felt blank. And so for that one, we're going to fill in a word. 7, who gave Rainbow Fish advice? And I think, is it C? And number 8, what did Octopus tell Rainbow Fish? 9, so I'll put that ... What did Rainbow Fish do? And number 10 says, what lesson did he learn? Because you know, many times when we read a story, we learn a lesson from it. So now we're going to look at the story, The Rainbow Fish. It's a read aloud book by Marcus Pfister. And then we're going to go back and we're going to answer the questions.
The Rainbow Fish. A long way out in the deep blue sea, there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. Other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. "Come on, Rainbow Fish," they would call. "Come and play with us." But Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. One day, a little blue fish followed after him. "Rainbow Fish," he called, "wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful, and you have so many." "You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are?" cried the Rainbow Fish. "Get away from me." Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset. He told all his friends what had happened. From then on, no one would have anything to do with the Rainbow Fish. They turned away when he swam by. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. "I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anybody like me?" "I can't answer that for you," said the starfish, "but if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you." Rainbow Fish found the cave. It was very dark inside and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, Two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. "I have been waiting for you," said the octopus with a deep voice. "The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy." "I can't," the rainbow fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. "Give away my scales, my beautiful shining scales? Never! How could I ever be happy without them?" Suddenly he felt the light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. "Rainbow fish, please, don't be angry. I just want one little scale." The rainbow fish wavered. "Only one very, very small shimmery scale?" he thought. "Well, maybe I wouldn't miss just one." Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much," the little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over the rainbow fish. For a long time, he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing, so it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish. Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possessions has been given away, yet he was very happy. "Come on, rainbow fish," they called. "Come and play with us." "Here I come," said the rainbow fish, and happy as the splash, he swam off to join his friends.
Okay, boys and girls, that was a cute story. Now, you should have a paper and pencil. We're not going to write the questions. We're only going to write the answers. So remember, number 1 says, what is the title? So if this was our paper, and you should have your paper, we would put a number 1. And what is the title of this story? We should write the title, and remember that capital T. The title, right along with me, is Rainbow Fish. And remember, it is the name of a fish. And so we have to put a capital R and a capital I because his name is Rainbow Fish. And we're going to put a period. So our question said, what is the title? And our answer is, the title is Rainbow Fish. As we answer the questions, it should be in the order of the story. So the first few questions should be at the beginning of the story. The last question should be at the end of the story. And those in the middle should be in the middle of the story. Okay, so number 2 says, why was he beautiful? So we're going to go into the story to the first page.
Thanks for watching Picture Me, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye!
Oh.
We get it. You don't really want your kids watching videos, but it can have certain advantages.
Pick my pen up for me, please. I'm sorry, boys and girls. I didn't stop it fast enough.
You lived a fish.
Okay, so our question 2 says, why was he beautiful? Why did he think that he was beautiful? And it says,
An ordinary fish, but the most beautiful.
a long way out in the deep blue sea, there lived a fish, not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. So what would be the answer to why did he think he was beautiful? We could say that number 2, and we're not going to start with because, we're just going to say let's say his scales. His scales were blue with a comma, green with a comma, purple, and this word is sparkling, silver. So this word is an adjective that describes silver. And this is where it sparkles. So to our answer to why did he think he was beautiful, it was because he was so colorful, especially having the sparkling silver scales. So we said his scales were blue, green, purple, and sparkling silver. You should be writing with me. If you run out of time, you can stop the tape to finish writing. Okay, so number 3 says, was rainbow fish friendly? So let's go on to see what does it say? What would be the evidence to say yes or to say no?
Every shade of blue and green and purple with sparkling silver scales. The fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him rainbow fish.
The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him rainbow fish. Come on, rainbow fish, they would call. Come and play with us. But the rainbow fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. So would we say that's friendly? I don't think so. I think we would say no. The question says, was rainbow fish friendly? And we would say no because he did not want to play with the other fish. So for our third answer on your paper, you would write no with a capital N. And let's put a comma. He did not want to play, and let's shorten it and say with other fish. So our question was he friendly? And our evidence in the story says that he just glided past them, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. So he thought he was too pretty to play with the other fish. He was not very friendly. Okay, number 4 says, who wanted a scale. So let's move on.
Come on, Rainbow Fish, they were called. Come and play with us. Look after him. Rainbow Fish, he called. Wait,
So one day, a little blue fish followed after him. Rainbow Fish, he called, wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful, and you have so many. So let's go back and see what we called the little fish. It said one day a little blue fish. So we could call him Bluefish. So who wanted a scale? Bluefish wanted a scale. So let's see if I can write this up here. Well, I tell you, I'm going to erase this up here. I've lost my eraser. What happened to it? That's very strange. I've lost the eraser. So on our paper, we're gonna write number 4, and we're gonna say blue, and it's the beginning of the sentence, so we have to have that capital letter, blue fish. Oh, and so I guess we need to put capital F for fish, blue fish. Since rainbow fish was called rainbow fish, blue fish should be capital F. Bluefish wanted, right up along with me, a scale. And we have quite a few kids who do the work and send it in. Madison, Destin. Where is my, oh, look at it, it's back here. Dakota, Gary. Okay, number 5. Why was Bluefish shocked? Now, we would have looked at that word shocked when we were doing our unravel, because that might have been a word that we were not familiar with. And shock means very surprised. We're just so surprised that it happened, that it startled us. So let's see what happens. Let's find out why Bluefish was shocked.
for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. Sure, cried the Rainbow Fish.
And so he says, you want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are? Cried Rainbow Fish. Get away from me. Shocked, a little blue fish swam away. So he told all of his friends what had happened. He was so upset. From then on, no one would have anything to do with the rainbow fish. They turned away when he swam by. So the question says, why was Bluefish shocked? And do you think he was shocked because Rainbow Fish said, get away from me? Let's write number 5 and say rainbow, and we're not going to say because, rainbow fish. And let's see what that word is. We're going to go back to the story to see what it says. He cried, and cry doesn't mean crying with tears coming out. This time cried means he just said it so loud. So let's say he yelled, because we can do that. And then we're going to use those talking marks. Get away from me. And because he said it was so much excitement, we need that exclamation mark, and then we're going to close our talking marks. So the question says, why was Bluefish shocked? He was shocked because Rainbow Fish yelled, get away from me. And all of the other fish were so upset that nobody wanted to play with him anymore. So, moving along, number 6 says, when no one played with Rainbow Fish, he felt blank. So this is number 6. When, and you're writing with me, when no one played with him, and him is Rainbow Fish, he felt, okay, so now no one wants to play with him. So he has to be by himself, he's alone, and he's probably very sad because he doesn't have anybody to play with him. So what word can we use to describe how you feel when you don't have anyone to play with you and it's because they don't want to play with you? I think a good word would be lonely. Lonely. See if I spelled that right. Lonely. When no one played with him, he felt lonely. But I think he did that to himself. So, number 7 said, let's see if it's on this page before we go into our next.
By the rainbow fish. Get away from me. Shaq, the little blue fish, swam away. He was so upset.
So what are we doing, boys and girls? We have to go back to the story every time we have to answer a question just to make sure we have the right answer. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. They did admire him and they wanted him to share, but he did not want to share. He wanted to keep it all to himself. So they didn't admire him anymore because we could say that he was stingy. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. I am really beautiful. Why doesn't anybody love me or like me? I can answer that for you, said the starfish. But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cove, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help. Now, we know that owls are supposed to be very intelligent. This is something new for me. I didn't know that octopus were wise, but they must be, because people must observe their behavior and they must do things to show that they are very smart. So number 7 said, who did Rainbow Fish talk to? And we can say he talked to octopus, octopus. And remember what we do at the end at punctuation, we put a period. Who did Rainbow Fish talk to? He talked to octopus. So let's see, what is number 8? Number 8 says, what advice did octopus give Rainbow Fish? So let's move along.
With no one to admire them. Now he was there. Why doesn't anybody like me? I can't answer that for you, said the starfish. But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you.
I like this
It was
story.
very dark inside, and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, 2 eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness.
What happened here?
You press it.
Okay.
Press X at the top.
For you, said the octopus.
Put this at the
No,
top?
at the top of the black box.
The waves had told me.
I have to
swim.
go back.
This is my advice.
Kids, you know I'm not good with computers, so I have to go back to that page.
He couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, 2 eyes caught.
The rainbow fish found the cave because remember the starfish told him to go into the cave to talk to the wise octopus. The rainbow fish found the cave. It was very dark inside, and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. Emerged is one of those words that we might say, what does that mean? And it means he came out. So we could say, then suddenly two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus came out from the darkness instead of emerged. Okay, so let's see what happens now.
Caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged with a deep voice.
So the octopus says, I have been waiting for you, said the octopus with a deep voice. So he probably said, I have been waiting for you. The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy. So he told him to share. So number 8 says, what advice did the octopus give rainbow fish? Let's make this 8. And let's say he told him to share his, and what's that word? Scales. He told him that he wasn't going to be the most beautiful, but he would be happy. So, do you think that he's going to do it? Well, we already read that story, so we know what the answer is going to be. So let's see what he says.
The waves had told me your story. This is the rainbow fish started to say.
I can't, the rainbow fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. Give away my scales, my beautiful shining scales? Never! How could I ever be happy without them? So he was more interested in how he looked.
The octopus had already disappeared.
Okay, let's see what happens later on.
The little blue fish was back.
Suddenly, he felt the light touch of a fin, and there's that little blue fish again. Rainbow fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale. The rainbow fish wavered, and wavered means he thought about it. So that's one of those words, too, that we would have said, what does wavered mean before we read our story? But we didn't have the story to actually look at because it wasn't on paper, so we had to kind of wait to read it. The rainbow fish wavered. Only one very, very small shimmery scale. He thought, well, maybe I wouldn't miss just one. And look how beautiful he looks. He's shiny, he's sparkling. And do you think that would make little blue fish happy?
Rainbow fish.
So number 9 says,
I just want one little scale. The rainbow fish.
so number 9 says,
Little fish.
so what did rainbow fish do? Let's see. Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much, the little fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over rainbow fish. But how do you think he felt? He looked at the little blue fish, and the little blue fish was so happy. Do you think that it made rainbow fish feel happy too? I think so. For a long time, he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. So, what did rainbow fish do? Well, we know he gave the little blue fish a scale. Let's see what else he
Thank you
does.
very much. watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water.
The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing. So it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. What do you think they want? Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right. And that's just a phrase that we use. It means he's just given one here and one there. And the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. Because all of the other fish, I'm sure, was very happy that they had a scale too. We could see his scale. We can't really see. Maybe they didn't get theirs yet. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home with the other fish. So our answer for what did the rainbow fish, he gave away all of his scales except one. So this is number 9. Rainbow fish, let's say gave, are you writing with me? Let's say his, that's why we need that eraser, his sparkling scales to all of the fish. So that's what he did. What did he do? He shared. That's the word we use. He shared. And everybody was happy. One question, and it's a fill in the blank sentence, is the more he gave away, the more he gave away, comma, the more blank he became. Now, right off the bat, we could say the more happy, or it really would be the happier. But let's see what word was used in a story.
The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became.
Okay, what did that say just now? The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. So the word is delighted. And another word for delighted would be happy. So that's one of those hard words that, so far we have 4 words that we had to really understand what they meant. So the more delighted, it means the happier he became, or the more pleased with himself he became. So he learned to share. When the water around him filled with the glimmering scales, at last he felt at home with the other fish. So we're almost to the end.
He at last found at home among the other fish.
Oh.
Skill, glib. His most prized possessions has been given away.
Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possessions had been given away, yet he was happy. "Come on, rainbow fish," they called. "Come and play with us." "Here I come," said rainbow fish, and happy as happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. So everybody had a sparkle. Look at each one has the sparkle, and they're all happy. So what lesson did he learn? I think he learned, what's that word we talked about before? I think he learned to share. Now, if you have another sheet of paper and you have some crayons, what you can do, you can try to draw your fish, because you know in class we draw a lot. So we want to make his body. And then we can make his tail. And then his fin at the top is real big because those fins help them to turn, to go fast. So they have lots of fins. And then let's do his lips and his eye. Fish don't have eyelids. And then this is the part. And then we would just overlap the scales. And I would think that if you have something like foil at home, when you're coloring your fish, you want to color, remember the colors, you can't color it any color you want because it has to go along with the story if he's going to be the rainbow fish. So it would have to be, his mouth would be yellow. And you would want his scales. I'm not going to color the whole fish, but I like to stay in the line. And one would be purple. Remember to stay in that line. And then if you do this, send me a picture of this fish so that I can see it. And I dropped my green crayon. So let me just get another one out. And I thought I had some foil paper. Remember, we just need a dot of glue. And if you use foil paper, there it is, he's shiny. So you can do the whole thing. You could color all of it purple, blue, green, and do you want to have a lot of shinies or do you want one? And what you could do is draw some more fish and everybody can have one sparkling fin. That would be great. And we could title it, what is his name? Rainbow Fish. This was a cute lesson. We really didn't have to do an assessment, a quiz today because of our holiday, but we needed to do something, and so this was a little change. You can pull up the rainbow fish on YouTube and read it again, or you can just look at it on our video lesson. And if you want to, if you did this, you can send this to me to show me that you've done it. Because remember, we need to have grades, and this would be considered a grade in reading. So I will see you, today is Friday, I will see you Monday, boys and girls. Have a good weekend.